The Wheel of Change. I'm now going to share a very practical model that you can use to plan your own life, to help you become that person you want to be, to coach others, help them become the person that they want to be, to work on building a team, or even analyze an entire organization. The Wheel of Change. In the Wheel of Change, we have 2 dimensions, 4 quadrants. That first dimension is positive to negative. Positive, those great elements that we either have now or want to create, and negative, what we don't like or want to get rid of. And then we have change and keep. Change, what we want to modify, keep what we want to leave as is. And looking at the Wheel of Change, we can see 4 quadrants. Quadrant number 1 is called creating. Creating. And as we journey through life, think about this. Who is the new me that I want to become? Positive change. Who is that new me I want to create? And it could be things like results. I need more money. I want to create more wealth. It could be health. I want to create a healthier lifestyle. It could be relationships. It could be just our view of the world. I want to be happier. Who is the new me I want to create? That's positive change. And in looking at this concept of creating, I think a good place to start is to look at our identity. Before I focus on who do I want to become in the future, it's good to look at how do I define myself now? What is my identity? And where does our identity come from? Again, a simple model, 4 quadrants. We look at the future versus the past, self versus other. The first is, how do I know who I am? My remembered identity. For example, I think I'm a bad tennis player. Okay, that's part of my identity. How do I know I'm a bad tennis player? Well, I remember tennis matches, I remember losing, and these memories become part of my identity, my remembered identity. The second part of our identity is past other. This is called our reflected identity. What others have told us about ourselves in the past that begin to shape our identity. For example, someone says, I'm a bad listener. How do you know you're a bad listener? Well, in the past, people have told you you didn't listen, and these reflections from others have shaped our identities. We're now going to spend some time, though, on number 3, our programmed identity. We have all been programmed to believe that we are a certain person. And these programs dramatically impact the way we define ourselves. And often they're not really based on a lot of logic, just historical facts. For example, I'm from a small town in Kentucky called Valley Station, Kentucky. The middle school down the street from my home last year in Kentucky in academic achievement, we were ranked last place. The odds on me being ranked the number 1 leadership thinker in the world from there are roughly equivalent to a snowball's chance in hell. Not really high probability this is going to be happening. On the other hand, I got some programs that shaped my identity and helped me become kind of a different person. My mother went to college for 2 years, which was unusual back then, and was a first grade school teacher. She taught children about 6 years old, and then she got married, and my father came up with this idea that women shouldn't work, so we got to be poor. Now, the bad news is we were poor. The good news is she took all of her school teacher work and devoted it to one student, me. Her entire time was spent educating me. Well, when I was growing up, she gave me the following messages about myself. The following programs. To start with, she said, Marshall, you are smart. She did not say, I was kind of smart. She said, you are extremely smart. She said, you are the smartest little boy in Valley Station, Kentucky. She also said, Marshall, you are going to college. She didn't say, maybe I was going to college. You are going to college. This was never given to me as a vote. I got the message, if you don't go to college, I'm going to kill you. And she said, you can go to graduate school. Now, my dad had a little 2-pump gas station. She didn't want me working at that gas station. What's another part of my programming? Marshall, you have no mechanical skills, and you will never have any mechanical skills for the rest of your life. I get this message. You have no mechanical skills. How does this message impact my identity? Never encouraged to be around cars or tools, mechanical things. So guess what? I don't learn. Now, my father, you have no mechanical skills. My friends, you have no mechanical skills. I'm a teenager. They're talking about a universal joint. I thought a universal joint was something people smoked. Well, I'm brought up to believe I have no mechanical skills. I'm 18 years old. I take a test. United States Army Mechanical Aptitude Test. I scored in the bottom 2 percentile of the entire United States. I was defeated by random chance. Now it's no longer my mother saying, you have no mechanical skills, or my father. It was the United States Army and a staff of trained psychologists have all got together to prove I had no mechanical skills. Do I doubt this? Of course not. I totally accept it. Until I'm 26 years old. I'm getting a PhD from UCLA, and one of my teachers is old Dr. Tannenbaum. He hands out a piece of paper. On one side it said, things I do well. The other side, things I can't do. Things I do well, what did I say? Scholarly pursuits, research, what was I saying? Smart, I'm smart. Things I can't do. I have no mechanical skills. I will never have any mechanical skills. So he looks at me and says, Marshall, how do you know you have no mechanical skills? I said, it's hopeless. I took a test. I was defeated by a random chance. He said, how are your mathematical skills? Perfect score on the SAT Math Achievement Test, 9 courses of math past calculus. I have wonderful mathematical skills. He said, why is it you can solve complex mathematical problems, but you cannot solve simple mechanical problems? I thought, good point. He said, how's your hand-to-eye coordination? Guess it's okay. I could play pinball games, shoot pool. He said, why could you play pinball games and shoot pool, but you cannot hammer nails? When I was 26 years old, I realized I had no mechanical skills because I was told I had no mechanical skills. That became part of my identity. And after a while, it wasn't my mother saying that or my father or the United States Army who was telling me every day I had no mechanical skills. Me. Now, as simple as this sounds, I see this in coaching CEOs every week. I'll coach a CEO and he'll say, I can't listen. I've never been able to listen. I can't listen. I look in the guy's ears. Why can't you listen? You got something stuck in there? I can't give recognition. I can't give recognition. Why not? Are you genetically mean? Well, we talk about ourselves as if we have these genetic defects that are causing us to be a certain person. We talk about ourselves as if our identity is fixed. It can never be changed. And as long as we think this way, guess what? We're probably right. It won't be changed. The final element of our identity is called our created identity. Now, what does that mean? That's the new identity we can create for ourselves in the future. And most of us have trouble even imagining that. Why? Why do we believe we have to live the same identity? Because we believe that is just the way I am. Well, as long as we believe that is just the way I am, that is probably just the way we are going to continue to be. Let me give you an example. I was teaching in a hospital. And I didn't have a brother or sister, and my wife didn't have a brother or sister, so I didn't really think about the importance of siblings in impacting our identity. And I asked them, how many of you had a brother or sister? And they pretty much all raised their hands, or most of them. Then I asked a question. You were always brought up to believe you're the smart one, or the pretty one, or the ugly one, or the stupid one, or the clever one, or something. How many of you were brought up to believe you were the responsible one? Everyone in the room put their hands up. They were all the responsible ones. And we talked about it. We talked about what's good about being responsible. We also talked about the dark side of being responsible. People said things like, I never got to have as much fun. You know, I have to take care of my children, my parents, I take care of everybody. Why? The others know I'll do it. They always had the attitude if they screwed up, it was okay, I'll take care of it. Well, what they realized is it's okay to be responsible most of the time. It's not so great to have to be responsible all of the time. Sometimes maybe they don't want to be the responsible one. They want to lighten up, have a little bit more fun, just be a little different sometimes, take more risk. Well, what's amazing is if we think about our identity, challenge yourself. Ask yourself, who am I today? How am I defining myself? And how much of this has come from programs in my past, from my parents, from other important people? And then ask yourself, who is the new me that I want to create in the future? Who is the person that I want to be? And how can I change my identity so that I'm not locked into being who I have been? I can become the person that I want to be in the future.